My gosh, the Player First games just released a long update. It feels like they thought the first one was way too short, so they majorly overcompensated. But welcome to Season 1, everyone. We have a lot to cover. Morty has finally gotten a release date time. He'll be expected on the 23rd of August, but no news yet on Rick. This patch will also be coming out in two parts, so some of the changes I will talk about will go into effect in the next couple of days. The free agents this go around are Arya, Batman, Lebron, and Steven. You'll now be able to see which characters are in the free rotation because they will have an icon on them. Battle Pass XP match rewards has been increased from 10 for wins and 5 for losses, which is up from 5 for wins and 3 for losses. Battle Pass class missions have been removed other than tanks because everyone starts with Wonder Woman, and this changes because they feel using your daily reroll wasn't reliable. They also lowered the pesky Battle Pass seasonal missions, with the ring out missions going from 75 to 50 and the assist missions going from 125 to 50. Perks got fixed this patch as well, with a lot of perks now doing what they're actually supposed to do and making them more consistent, like Clear the Air, Make It Rain Dog, Painted Target, School Me Once, Slippery When Faint, Snowball Effect, and Static Electricity. The only perk that really saw any change was Retaliation Ready. They reduced the unstacked Gray Health from 3 HP for 3 seconds to 1 HP for 3 seconds, and when it's stacked, they reduce the Gray Health from 4 HP for 3 seconds to 2 HP for 3 seconds. There were some gameplay systems fixed this patch too. Movement speed when stacked with 1 ice debuff reduced from 15% from 20%. It also now scales linearly and removed a bug where characters received additional knockback when affected by this. Ability cooldowns were also not triggered when near an ally Jake, but that bug has been fixed. Free For All also had a bug showing incorrect point values, but this should be fixed as well. You can now preview announcer packs before you buy them, which is a good small change in my opinion. They fixed bugs in the tutorial. The spike tutorial has been changed so you actually have to use a spike and not an air attack. The Rain Dog tether no longer works if they are pulled after they are wrung out. Shaggy will no longer fall off the map during the aerial combat demo, and they also added a second wall to the KBI tutorial, which is a godsend. Straight up, I hated that. You used to just have to break the game and lag it out so it didn't kill you. Now let's get to the characters.
Oh, wow! Wow!
Arya has been buffed to make her combos more consistent and successful at lower skills. Her air and ground special have been buffed, so hitting a fighter will now more accurately launch them at an angle to allow follow-ups. Her air up attack has been buffed so that the first hit combos nicely into the second hit. Her neutral up attack branches early on hit. Her ground side attack will now retain velocity on the first hit of side attack. Her ground down attack now has an earlier dodge branching. There was a bug with her air or ground neutral special where Arya would not copy over capsule hitboxes on her normal neutral attacks when stealing a fighter's face, but that got fixed alongside with her hurt boxes now matching her victim's hurt box while she is disguised as them. Her top UI would be offset incorrectly when she steals a face. Her disguise attack hitbox could get disconnected. Her original hitboxes would be unusable during disguise attacks. And lastly, fix the hitboxes from her disguise would stay active during her normal attacks. Bruce Wayne's kit has been tweaked this patch too. His air or ground side special got changed so he won't overshoot his destination when a character dodges. His ground side special got nerfed and now has 3 frames of whiff recovery. His air or ground neutral attack has gotten a nerf too. His Batarang pickup has returned to 9.45 seconds from its changed 11.55 seconds last patch. This change creates a window from when the Batarang is used for the opponent to react. With perks that can cause cooldown to be even shorter, they felt this change was necessary to create counterplay against the Batarang. The Rabbit has also seen some balancing in this patch. His air up special and air side special has gotten changed so he can no longer spawn 2 rockets. His air and ground neutral special got nerfed, so there's no exploit where he can spawn multiple safes without triggering his cooldown, and changed the safe's HP from 16 to 14. His air down special got changed, and it now removes previous tunnels when creating new tunnels. His air up attack added 4 frames of whiff recovery. His air side attack and air neutral attack both got increased whiff recovery by 5 frames. And lastly, his ground down attack now has a max lifetime set to 8 seconds from infinite, and it no longer applies a slow effect. Finn's backpack was torn this patch. His passive has been nerfed. Attacks affected by attack decay no longer spawn coins, and now he spawns with 100 gold instead of 200. His air down special got buffed by fixing an issue where the gem required 200 gold to get, but only cost 100 to spawn. The gem now requires and only costs 100 gold. There was a nerf on his air side special, which now has additional whiff recovery. His ground and air up special now has reduced vacuum strength effect. Weaker hits of the backpack will no longer overwrite stronger knockbacks from other attacks. Whiffing with all hits will still drop a coin, and they added a whiff recovery. Hitboxes should match the attack better, but it won't be perfect until their planned hurt/hitbox system overhaul. His air side attack has reduced active frames, to which should limit Finn's ability to hit fighters behind him. His ground down attack now scales with how long you charge it. His ground side attack now has increased whiff recovery for the first hit, and on the house perk got a positive change with fixing an issue where Finn still got spent gold on gems spawned by the perk. They also slightly reduced the launch speed of the gem spawned by the perk, which should fix issues when it's combined with Make It Rain Dog. Garnet had a small buff this patch. Their air and ground neutral special activation starts earlier on frame 12 instead of frame 30. Their air and ground down special had a bug where Garnet would be stopped by the Iron Giant's collision, but that has been fixed. Their air neutral attack now has a slightly higher base knockback as well. Harley gained some weight this patch. Her stuffy Batman got its VFX shrunk to match the explosion radius better, and now she has an increased weight of 44, which was originally at 42, which puts her above Batman. The Iron Giant is looking more like a plastic giant. First, his VFX, Global Fighter VFX, now better matches the Iron Giant's size, so when he's in like a Steven Universe bubble, it should match that without taking up too much space on the screen. His air and ground down special got nerfed. They fixed an issue where VFX trails would persist and fill up the screen. You can no longer use cannonball attacks when out of air specials. The knockback angle changed to send fighters more horizontally and away from the Iron Giant. They also fixed issues that allowed for infinite bouncing on enemies near the ground. His air and ground neutral special got a nerf as well. The gray health from activation got reduced from 2 plus the number of bolts you have for 5 seconds to just the number of bolts you have for 3 seconds. And the gray health from allies overlap was reduced from 5 HP for 5 seconds to 3 HP for 3 seconds. His ground forward special now can't grab if the opponent is in an incompatible state, which I'm assuming if they are flying off or like Tom and Jerry grab him with his fishing rod, he can't grab him, which is an interesting change. His air up attack can no longer hit the same target multiple times, though I thought that was a bug fix in the previous patch. His air neutral attack, its final hit knockback angle, which changes some fighters more horizontally and away from the Iron Giant and increased the knockback scaling. His ground up attack, its gray health from scrap was reduced from 3 HP for 5 seconds to 2 HP for 3 seconds, and allies that consume the scrap will overwrite any existing gray health they have when consuming scrap. His ground forward attack was changed as well. His ground forward attack was changed so his attack decay would be triggered for all parts of the forward attack combo. The ground down attack, its gray health from art was reduced from 10 HP for 10 seconds to 6 HP for 3 seconds. Jake had some changes as well. His air down attack now has removed instant cancel out of the attack to prevent skateboard infinites, and it also no longer bounces off allies. His ground up attack now additional whiff recovery and slightly later charge cancel window to make it a bit more communal. Lebron mainly sees buffs and changes to his kit this patch. His air and ground side special has gotten a change. His solo dunk no longer spawns a shockwave on the ground. His alley-oop teleport version of Lebron's dunk spawns a shockwave and will launch fighters into the shockwave, and the shockwave will launch fighters into the final hit that applies weakened debuff. His solo dunk knockback and hitbox size has been increased. They also fixed a bug where LeBron could dunk himself into the sky, which I could not find a clip of. His ground and air down special with no ball has been adjusted to prevent ball spam. His air side attack got a buff where it branches early on hit, and they fixed the hitbox hitting behind him too much. His air neutral attack now branches early on hit to increase his combo potential. His ground side attack and ground down attack, they removed their shared attack decay. His ground side attack 3-hit combo hits more consistently. His ground neutral attack got its angle of attack fixed. His basketball has fixed some team color issues that were occurring when reflecting LeBron's basketball. They also fixed an issue where LeBron could be struck attacking without his ball while visually holding his ball. LeBron's Hot Hands perk got changed. When an ally catches a no-look pass, the pass buff will emit flames to let allies know they will throw an ignited ball. The undeniably cute Rain Dog received some changes as well. His Air Up special lost his hit pause when an ally threw him in ball form. His Air and Ground Neutral special did see a nerf where its cooldown increased from 13 seconds to 14 seconds. And lastly, his Air Up attack got his hitbox size increased. The fearsome Shaggy players must start using 2% of his power. His Rage Air Side special, its recovery has been increased by 2 frames, now better matches the Rage Ground Side special. They also addressed an issue where Shaggy could perform 2 Rage specials. His Rage Ground Down special got a buff, and now has his Shockwaves will launch fighters into a final hit that applies a weakened debuff. His Ground and Air Side special got nerfed by adding 4 additional frames of whiff recovery. Shield-wielding Steven mostly got changes this time around. He did see one nerf this patch, and it's with his Ground Down special. They also fixed a bug where Watermelon Steven could spawn inside a ceiling and be stuck. So instead of it starting right when he spawns Watermelon Steven, it starts as soon as Watermelon Steven's rung out, which is a pretty good change. His air neutral attack will no longer cause an animation hitch. They also fixed an voiceover / SFX issue where Steven's intro voice lines failed to play. They also fixed an issue where Steven could only perform his up tone. The Man of Steel has gotten a nerf this time as well. His ground neutral attack, ground up attack, ground down special, they all added additional whiff recovery. This patch is the start of the tornado changes for Taz. But before we get into that, let's talk about this. His chicken debuff. They fixed a bug where transformed fighters could receive buffs that would not appear visually when they returned to their normal form. They nerfed the chicken by reducing the duration from 10 seconds to 8 seconds, but they did increase the size of the chicken. His air and ground down special got buffed by adjusting the projectile's movement direction of Taz's spit projectiles to be more forward and less of a lob. When he spits a projectile back at a fighter, it will maintain its original speed. His air and ground neutral special, when he eats a projectile that can't be spit back out, will refresh a count of his core apple. They increased the size of hit collision from eating projectiles on his neutral special. They also made it possible to eat projectiles a few frames earlier. He deals 1 stack of weakened debuff every time he chooses an enemy. They also fixed a bug that allowed for ground movement after eating an enemy fighter. They nerfed his air and ground up special by damage reduced from 10 to 9, and the base knockback reduced from 15,000 to 1350. They fixed a bug where enemy fighters could become invulnerable to the fight cloud after dodging it. They changed its air and ground side special now. It's now a cooldown, a 7-second cooldown. While the cooldown is active, you can still use it, but the side special has a weaker version of the tornado, like we talked about last video. At full power, tornado, it has a 1.5 second duration and receives an additional 1 second duration after passing an ally. On cooldown, tornado, It has a 0.25 second duration, and it does not gain an additional duration by passing an ally. His ground up attack now is a 2-hit attack and an early hit combo into a sandwich clap. Then you got my boys Tom and Jerry, and they got some changes this patch too. The Dynamite got a buff and now applies projectile perk effects. They changed his air normal attacks. They fixed a bug that would prevent Tom and Jerry from using normal attacks when air special limit has been reached. They nerfed his air up special because they fixed an issue where Jerry would continue to have active hit frames when falling from the rocket. Velma got hit hard from this patch. Her air side special got nerfed with reduced move distance. The distance this traveled before gave Velma additional recovery that was not intended. Her air up special got reduced weakened stacks from 3 to 2. It will no longer chain into an air down attack as easily to prevent easy application of damage. Her ground side special, they reduced Gray health from 12 HP to 4 seconds to 6 HP for 3 seconds. Her air down attack, they increased recovery. Her air side attack got a whiff recovery. Her ground and air neutral attack, they fixed issues where word bubbles would go through bugs, tunnels. They reduced ammo count from 4 to 3 and reduced ammo return from 11. Her weight was decreased even more from 63 to 60. Her Knowledge's Power perk got nerfed by reducing Gray health from 7 HP for 5 seconds to 3 HP for 3 seconds. The Strong Wonder Woman got a pretty good buff. Her ground and air neutral special got her cooldown lowered from 13 seconds to 12 seconds. Her ground side special now has her projectile shield come out earlier to allow her to better react to incoming projectiles. They changed her air up attack by changing the hitbox, should now match better with the animation. Her weight has increased from 65 to 76, just above Shaggy. The Shield of Athena signature perk got adjusted so the scale of the projectile shield to cover an edge because there were projectiles that would pass above her during a dodge. Now some sad news it looks like. It looks like a lot of the Lord of the Rings stuff is being taken out of the game files, and that's because of this thing here. Someone's trying to get the rights to Lord of the Rings from Warner Brothers. I will post this image in the description so you can actually actively read it, but let's move on to some leaked content. We have some leaked content. Thanks to Twitter man Isumvu. He will be credited in the description if you want to go click on see his Twitter and see all the other leaked stuff that I won't be talking about here, or if I've already talked about it, you can go check out his Twitter. If you're curious, Morty's level up rewards in order are Armor Crush perk, Toast, Back-to-Back perk, Gold Equip Ally perk, / perk sharing fancy footwear perk, I am more than just a hammer signature perk, perk training enabled, oh that's a grenade signature perk, Deadshot perk, extra flea juice perk, Coffeezilla perk, Evil Morty profile icon, Morty wins stat tracking badge, which would, as all the other characters, is the last one. Here's about Marvin the Martian. Marvin will have a bubblegum, which can shoot small and large bubbles, some sort of flag, which is chargeable attack, a remote, and more as a part of his moveset. There is this image, which is down in the game, as you can tell, of Black Adam and Stripe. Tony has confirmed that Stripe and Gizmo are one character, so Gizmo won't be a separate character from Stripe as we all hoped. Lady Rainicorn and Beemo are going to be the first characters in-game to not be playable and have announcer back. There's leaked banners. You can see the particles, the borders, and effects. This one we assume is from the Matrix, and these ones we assume are for this plasma ball banner. But other than all that cool stuff and character changes, that's all I got for you today. So hit that like button, subscribe, and make sure to go check out Asimivu. He has a lot of good content over there, and he keeps up better than I do, apparently, with all the leaked crap. But thanks again for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. or ground side special got changed, so he won't overshoot his destination when a character dodges. His ground side special got nerfed and now has 3 frames of whiff recovery. His air or ground neutral attack has gotten a nerf too. His batarang pick. I'm trying to do